Okay, today's chat is for all of my creatives. I really want to talk today about crafts and hobbies and art. There is something that happens with people who struggle with clutter, and that is that they think that they don't deserve to do anything creative, anything that brings them joy, if they haven't decluttered their house first. And I'm here to tell you that that isn't true. Okay, that's actually a myth that I really want to bust because we can feel really weighted down by all of the obligations that we have in our life, right? Maybe we're caregivers, maybe we're parents, maybe we're grandparents, maybe we have a lot of career obligations and volunteer obligations, and maybe we manage sports, or we're pastors, or we're big volunteers, right? There are a lot of different things in our day-to-day life that ask a lot of us, right? It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy. And so we have a tendency to put off the things that bring us joy if they're not related to our obligations, thinking that I'm going to do it after I've decluttered my house, or I'm going to do it after I've reached a certain career goal, or I have to do ABC before I'm allowing myself XYZ. Okay. And I'm going to challenge you to reframe that. When we do things that bring us joy, okay, whether you are, maybe you like to color, maybe you're a painter, maybe you're a stitcher, or you are a knitter, or I have a client who loves to paint model cars. Okay. Anything that is creative, that makes you happy, that brings you joy, I don't want you to wait to be creative, because doing creative things, if you are an artist, and an artist is anybody who loves to create things, okay? This is not like I have to make a certain amount of money to be considered an artist, or I have to sell my things to be considered an artist. If you are a creative, this is a vital thing that is important to your mental health. When we do creative things, it can bring about a very similar positive reaction like meditation. Okay. Our body loves repetitive movement. It gives our brain something positive to focus on. And that's really, really important for your mental well being. And if you keep pushing it to the back, it's like shoving it in the back of the closet and going, I have to wear all of these things first before I can wear the things that I love. I have to do all of these other things before I can spend time on this thing. You are denying yourself something that makes you happy. Okay. And all of these obligations, all of these things that are pulling at you, that are asking of your time and your energy, have you thought that maybe it would be easier to show up to these things if we spent time creatively doing something that we love? Okay. We don't have to attend to all of our obligations, to tick off everything in our to-do list in order to deserve time to be creative. That's something that's a fallacy. That's something that we tell ourselves that has no truth. When in reality, if you spend time doing something creative that brings you joy, that makes you happy, that helps you relax, then it's going to be so much easier to show up for the places that take a lot of time, that take a lot of energy, that may have some stress attached to it, right? You deserve time to be creative because you are a human being. You deserve time to do things that make you happy because you exist in the world. You do not have to conquer that to-do list. You do not have to have a perfect home. You do not have to have everything decluttered in order to be creative. Okay. And if you have not tried a creative pursuit, take a little bit of a risk. Maybe try it out. It's actually really good for your brain. It gives it something positive to focus on, and that can actually reduce your stress level, right? Is it easier to think about making time to do something creative if I tell you that as a grief and trauma therapist, I'm saying, hey, this is actually really good for your mental health. I want you to make time for it. Does that make it easier to show up to the space, right? If it does, then that's great. Then I hope you hear my voice in your head every time you doubt yourself and saying, well, you know what, Slaney, but you haven't actually seen my house and you have no idea what's being asked of me in a day. There simply isn't time. When we're ill, we make time to go see the doctor, right? We make that a priority. We suddenly have this time, even though it may feel like we don't, to show up and go to the doctor. Okay. If you want to have time to be creative, you need to make intentional choices to put that into your day, to make a date with yourself, and then to follow through. Okay. That's how we make the time. Life doesn't magically just give us more than the 24 hours that everybody else in the world is allotted, right? We all have the same 24 hours. So we have to choose wisely. And that doesn't mean that you need to take 3 hours. If you have a super busy schedule, if you're taking care of kids or grandkids and your parents or your neighbors and you're volunteering and you have a job, that is a lot. Can you take 20 minutes? And you may say, well, Selena, 20 minutes isn't actually, that's not even really worth it. But if that's 20 minutes of happiness, if that's 20 minutes that it brings your heart rate down, it helps you balance out your stress, then those 20 minutes are absolutely worth it. Okay. So your homework, if you are a creative, if you have hobbies, I don't want you to wait till your house is decluttered. I want you to make time for it now. So that way you do have the resiliency and the energy to show up and declutter. Okay. Maybe it's not declutter first, creative seconds. Maybe it's create first, so then we can show up and declutter. Right. So that's what I want you to think about today. And I would love to hear in the comments, does that work for you? Do you have questions about it? Because I would be happy to read them over and answer them. And in the meantime, next right thing, next right thing.